Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Temple Har Zion. I'm Rabbi Glick, Cantor Figa. How wonderful to have all of us together again for our sharing Shabbat. This, I think, has been more than a decade that we've been doing this, coming together usually in the weeks before Thanksgiving to share in Shabbat together, to sing together, also to pray together. So we're very grateful to Joanna Johnson, to all the clergy team at Grace Lutheran, Cantor Figa, our principal, David Schwartz, our children's teacher, Mr. Andy and Ms. Jessie. I know that our children were at Grace Lutheran earlier in the week, and my son, who's in the class, told me they asked the hardest questions they could of Pastor Lyle. So when they came over, they asked me the hardest questions they could too. But we are here together to have a Friday night service. And our custom is for me to share a few words about Shabbat before our service begins. So the word in Hebrew, Shabbat, is the same as Sabbath. And Sabbath actually comes from that Hebrew word Shabbat. And Shabbat means to stop. God created the world in 6 days. And on the seventh day, the Torah says, Shavat v'hi nafash. God stopped the work of creation and took a deep breath. And so Shabbat is about taking a deep breath and resting and celebrating and having time to be with our families and the people we love. In our modern day, unplugging from devices, eating good meals. And it's also more than that. It's about reconnecting to who we are, where we come from. And when we say the blessing over Kiddush, over the wine, which is one of our blessings rituals we do on Shabbat night, we remember that we were 3,500 years ago, we were slaves in Egypt. And we remember that means that part of our mission in the world is to repair the world, to bring joy and kindness and goodness wherever we can. So it's a day where we try and recommit to being good, to being kind, and to holiness. And one of my favorite parts about Shabbat is it teaches us that having that space for peace and rest is not something unusual, but it's built into creation. It's part of the universe. We should spend a part of every one of our weeks trying to find some of that spirit of Shabbat. So now I'd like to pass it over to our principal, Mr. Schwartz.
So the greeting for Shabbat is Shabbat Shalom, wishing a Sabbath of peace, and the response is Shabbat Shalom. So let's try that. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Very good. You're all naturals at this. So I wanted to orient you to the books that you have in front of you. There are 2 red books in your seats. We're going to be using the smaller one, the brighter red one. Hebrew is an ancient language, and ancient languages go right to left. So the book might seem to open backwards, but you'll want to start with the cover that has the writing on it. And inside, you'll find a page that looks something like this. So on one side we have Hebrew, on the other side we have the English translation telling you what the words mean. Next to the Hebrew, there's explanation. And next to the English, there are other readings that connect to whatever prayer is on that page. The page number is the same on both sides. Finally, and most importantly, we have the red print. The red print is the transliteration. These are the Hebrew words written in English letters. So the prayers that the kids will be singing, you have on the back of the sheet that you hopefully picked up from the music stand when you came in. All of the other prayers you'll be able to find here. We'll call page numbers and look for the red print so that you can get a sense of where the words are. So with that, Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to seeing you all over dinner.
We begin our service on page 5 in our Sidurim, a prayer where we invite the angels of Shabbat to come and bless us with their spirit. We're on page 5, the second half of the page.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון במלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון במלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. In our prayer books we turn to page 10, and the children will lead us in this song, Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh, beloved of my soul, I run to you like a gazelle, for I find your love to be sweeter than any honey.
Now turn to page 11, our Kabbalat Shabbat service. Kabbalat Shabbat means to receive the Shabbat. Begins with a journey through some of our psalms representing the days of the week, taking us on the road to the peace of Shabbat. We're on page 11.
לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישענו, נקדמה פניו ביתו בזדונה, בזמירו נריע לו.
I will turn to the English on the left-hand side, responsively of page 11. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Come then, let us bow and kneel, let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. We continue silently and we'll conclude on the bottom of page 12.
40 שנה קוד בדור, ואומרם טועה לבבם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי ביפי, אם יבון אל מנוחתי. Psalm 96 begins, Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom liyom, Yeshuato. And the children will sing part of this psalm. On page 14, Yismechu hashamayim, let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad, the sea and all that's in it.
Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim.
Please rise. We turn to page 21, another psalm, a psalm that speaks about the divine voice splitting cedar trees and mountains, but also giving the peace of Shabbat. We're on page 21.
Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nelim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai bi'adra kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod yirim, Adonai al mayim, mayim rabim, Kol Adonai b'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover harazim, vayeshaber Adonai et arzei alvanon, vayarkidem kemo egel levanon, v'sirion kemo venreimim. Kol Adonai chotzev le'avot esh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel al yalot, vayechesof יערות ובחלו, כולו מרכבות, אדוני למבול ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך רמו ושלום. No words. I, die, 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 die. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. I lie, 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 lie. La 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 la. A la 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 la. La 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 la.
Please be seated. We'll now turn to 23 Lecha Dodi, the central religious poem piyut of our Kabbalat Shabbat service.
I don't
The
see Lenny
Shabbat
yet.
is personified as a bride.
A group of
Here
kids.
imagine all of us greeting the bride Shabbat on this
But the
day of
kids look a
blessing
little
and
older.
rejoicing. We're on page 23.
Come, my beloved, to greet the Shabbat bride.
Just join me.
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. And we go directly to the last stanza, so kids remain standing. It's our custom to all rise and face the entrance to greet the bride, Shabbat. We're on page 25, the last stanza. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. We now turn to the last psalm of this beginning of our service, the psalm of the day of Shabbat, beginning with some of the most beautiful verses in our book of Psalms. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name, Most High, to proclaim your love at daybreak and your faithfulness each night.
Tov Liodot, page 27. The children lead us. It is good to give thanks to God and to sing to the One on high. להגיד בבוקר חסדיך ואמונתך בלילות בלילות.
Please rise. We turn to our call to worship, the Baruchu. We're on page 39a.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated and join me for a responsive reading. We're on the far left column of page 39a. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up and eons pass away and stars spin in their orbits.
You set the rhythms of day and night, the alteration of light and darkness sings your creating word.
In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest.
Eternal, everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion.
Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אמרי ורבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, בחוקיך. ויבטך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. We're on page 41, the central statement of our faith. Page 41, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. The Shema has 3 sections. On page 42 at the top is the second section, and in it we hear, impress these words of mine upon your heart and upon your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Teach them to your children by speaking of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your home and on your gates. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti erchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem emet.
Continue on page 43. And then on to page 44. Twice a day in our liturgy, we relive the crossing of the Red Sea. One hand, it's a reminder of that ancient redemption of our people, but also reminds us all to pray for our own redemption and for the redemption of all those who are in bondage. We're on page 44.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo tosef ele, norati lo tosef ele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha v'ke'ayam lifnei Moshe zelianu v'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar kifada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. The next blessing, the bracha, on page 45, the children will lead for us. The Hashkivenu, help us lie down in peace and rise up to life in the morning. Page 45. Shmor tzedenu uvoenu lechaim ol shalom me'ata v'ad olam. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
Please rise. We are on page 46 with the verses from the Torah. The people Israel shall observe Shabbat, maintaining it as an everlasting covenant throughout all generations.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמה דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה במרו אמן.
Please remain standing. We now have a part of our service called the Amidah. Every service has an Amidah, or silent prayer, moments of communion with God. Our tradition is to follow the words, page 47 to 52, but it is appropriate to follow the words in our own hearts or just have a few moments of silent meditation. Our silent Amidah for Friday nights, page 47 through to page 52.
An appropriate way to end the Amidah is to singing of Oseh Shalom. At the bottom of page 54 are the words, also on your handouts. May the one who made peace in the heavens make peace for us on earth. And let us say, Amen.
Oseh Shalom,
Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yalom Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom,
Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yalom Yisrael,
Yaseh Shalom,
Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yalom Yisrael.
Please remain standing. We turn to the Kiddush, our blessing over the wine. We're on page 55, if you'd like to follow along.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'masei v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikomim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uv'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom. It's customary to share a few words of Torah, about the Torah on Shabbat. So I wanted to ask all of our students, I need all of your help for this one. So I'm going to name an activity. You can tell me how holy or not it is. If it's very holy, you put your thumbs all the way up. If it's a little bit holy, put your thumbs in this way. If it's somewhere in the middle, you can say the even. If it's not holy, you put your thumbs down. How about reading the Torah or the Bible? How holy is that? How about reading a comic book? How about coming to synagogue or church? How about going to a baseball game? How about playing with a sibling? How about helping an elderly person cross the street? Very nice. Great job. Thank you. You know, it's incredible. Whenever I do this exercise, how intuitive it is to all of us what holiness is. We all feel inside of us what holiness is or is not. So every week, we read a little bit of a Torah when we're in synagogue. And the story that we're reading this week is all about Abraham. And so the Torah says that one day, Abraham was standing by the opening of his tent, and it was the middle of the day, in the heat of the day. How hot is it in the Middle East? Very hot, very hot. And suddenly he's standing there, and also our rabbinic commentaries say he was sick, he was injured, he was recovering. Do you think he felt like moving much from where he was? No. But he saw 3 men coming his way, and the Torah says he saw 3 men coming, he lifted his eyes, he saw, and he ran to greet them. And so for thousands of years, people have been asking us, well, why does the Torah repeat the words that he saw? He saw, he lifted his eyes, and he saw again. And so their answer is that Abraham looked not once. How many times did he look? He looked twice. Why did he repeat? Why did he look twice? Because he looked the first time and he saw some people coming towards him and he wasn't sure whether he was going to greet them. But then he looked again, a little bit differently. And when he looked again, he saw that these weren't just people coming his way, that these were actually angels, holy visitors coming to give him a special message. And so when he saw who they were, he ran out to greet them. Now, of course, one should greet anybody who comes to see us, right? But it's even more important when we have special visitors, divine guests in this time. So he showed them respect. He ran towards them. He washed their hands and feet. And so I always wondered, how did Abraham know by looking at them who they were? How did Abraham know that they were angels? Maybe there was some kind of outward sign. Maybe he could just feel it, that these were angels. Maybe he was just like all of you. He had a sense inside of himself where he could feel how holy somebody is or not. And he knew that this was a special encounter that was going to maybe change his life. So what's a lesson for all of us? The lesson for all of us is that we should also try and pay attention when we have a holy opportunity. What is a holy opportunity? A holy opportunity is when we think we can do something really good in our lives. We can help someone. We can come into a holy space. And so the first part we have to do is be like Abraham. You wonder, is something happening here? If you're not sure, you should look not once but twice to see, is there a holy opportunity? Do I have to change my behavior? And the second part is, what do you do if you see it? You have to run like Abraham and make sure that you do that good deed or you help the person. And so one of the reasons that we go to synagogue or we come to church is because it makes us laugh and enjoy being in this space, and because this is a holy space. Holy space is what makes us happy and joyful and peaceful. And this is part of what this part of the Torah comes to teach us. We have to spend time thinking about what is holy and what is not holy. How can we help a person in need? And when we do this, it makes us closer to God. It also makes us think, how can we be like Abraham? How can we be a person who lives a holy life? And it teaches us in our world not to look once, but how many times? To look twice. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We've come to the musical selections of our evening, and it's been a wonderful sharing Shabbat, and our combined schools are going to perform two songs for us now. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good it is for people to dwell together, followed by Shalom Chaverim Lehitraot. Goodbye, my friends. We will see you later.
Please rise. We turn to page 56, Aleinu, a prayer that imagines a world in oneness.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו וגובה מרובים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום השבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו. על כן יקרא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. At the end of all of our services, we have a prayer called the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. And every Shabbat, before we say the Mourner's Kaddish, we remember all those in our community who passed away over the years. And this week, it's called a yard site. This week, we're observing the following yard sites: Pearl Lynn Benditson, Jack Blau, Anna Bogot, Nathan Bogot, Abe A. Brown, Abe Cohen, Leah Cohen, Norman Elstein, Alice Engler, Daniel Fulmer, Romeo Joseph Fournier, Mary Gang, Anna Getner, Sarah Goldman, Clifford Gordon, Henrietta Gressen, Alex Hoffman, Morris Holland, Jack Hutnick, William Jaffe, Mary Judge, Dorothy Greenberg Landay, Rebecca Lazarus, Aaron Levin, Nathan Lipschultz, Sarah Nemirovsky, Rudolph Padish, Moses Poncher, Fritzy M. Raskin, Sue Ellis, Brian Robbins, Isidore Rosenberg, Samuel Tuchen, Mayor Tuvin, Evelyn Weintraub, Donald White, Iris Wilkes, David A. Wolf, Morris Wolke. If you're observing a yard site or in mourning, please rise and join me in the words of the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, b'gala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olmei almaya. Yiparach v'yishtabar v'yipa'ar v'yitchumam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shmei dekudesha brichu Eila mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imomav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru Amen. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our combined class, our students from both schools. They did a wonderful job, didn't they? At the end of our service, we have a few more prayers. Please join us in our social hall for dinner. Principal David Schwartz will lead us in the blessings and rituals before we begin to eat. If you are not coming to dinner, we have Kiddush in the foyer and Challah. But now we turn to the very end of our service. We conclude our service with
Adon Olam, as we share with you our closing hymn on page 211, and it is transliterated in the red print, but I'm going to sing some words and you repeat. Our kids know this, so we're going to share our Adon Olam, right kids? Here we go. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'yacharei Kiglot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Aya, V'hu Ove, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni Liyam Shelo Le'achbira Adon Olam V'li Reshit V'li Taklit V'lo Ha'ozi HaMisra Adon Olam V'hu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzur Chevli B'yitzara Adon Olam V'hu Nisi Umanos Li V'nat Kosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam V'yadu Akidruchi V'yetishan V'yaira Adon Olam V'imruchi Geviati Adon Ale V'lo Era Adon. Here we go again. Adon Olam
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Please rise for our concluding bracha, benediction. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Holy One, blessed be He. Bless us on this Shabbat of sharing in song and sharing in prayer, that we may aspire together to make the world holy, to bring peace for all. And let us say, Amen.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Adonai bless and protect you.
Ya'ir Adonai panav elecha v'choneka.
Adonai's countenance shine upon you. May Adonai bestow kindness upon you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May Adonai's countenance be lifted towards you. May Adonai grant you peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I have challah if someone wishes to bless with me. Maybe, I hope we can hear me. Elohim melech haolam, Not everybody.